Hey guys, a while back, I was watching a video that Paul Massoff had uploaded to Facebook about how he was making arms for his dummy, and it gave me some ideas. And I told him that I would film my idea and how it came together to kind of see how it worked. So what I have is I've got a Bob dummy, sans arms, I've got a pool noodle, and then I also have a length of PVC pipe. This is about a 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe. But I also have a heat gun, and my goal is to make this, instead of cutting this into multiple pieces and then putting that together, instead what I want to do is I want to heat and bend this and shape it to the dummy itself. Now I've got to kind of think about that. I'm going to get rid of this because obviously the arms need to come out around here right underneath this socket. The ideal would be if they were more in line with the shoulder joint, but that's just not where we're at. And so with this, what I want to do is I want to bring that around there, but I also want to make sure that it has some level of rigidity. So right now I'm thinking that I want to start high and come around the back and come out on either side. So as I come on this side, that it comes out this way. That way it kind of sets into place. That's my thought. Let's give it a shot. So I'm going to start by just heating the center of this. It's rather long. It's about, I think this is a 9 foot piece, a 9 foot length that I picked up at just like Home Depot, just kind of your basic deal. And I'm gonna start by finding about the center, and I'm gonna start heating that spot because that's the spot that I want to work with the most. I'm gonna heat, I'm explaining all of this before I do it because this will be loud. I'm gonna heat this section and I'm going to be rolling it forward and back so I get the entire thing hot. Now we'll see how, so now at this point, this is fairly pliable. So I can start bringing this around this section here. Now I want to pull it tight so that I get some shape to it. Just gonna kind of lift and set this here. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm kind of pulling it tight and then letting it cool. And if I would have thought ahead, then I would have also made sure to bring a fan or something to help cool this down faster. But this is kind of, so you can see what's happening to the pipe. Is this right here. We're getting this shape. To cool it, I'm just going to wave it up and down and just let the air, the passing air, cool it down so that it kind of stays roughly in this shape. Now with some interest, I could go ahead and flatten this down, make it sit a little flat, but I think I may end up rolling some PVC, not PVC, some of the pool noodle around this, just that it's not a hard striking surface if you punch towards the throat, but we'll see. So now what I want to do is I want to start heating the areas that are going to roll back around the shoulders, around the back and around the shoulders. So as this sits in here, now I need this section, so this section here to start to drape. So I'm just going to grab the heat gun and start heating that area. And I'm just going to do these, one at a time. Getting there, but not hot enough. It takes a fair bit of heat before it becomes really pliable. And then you want to make sure that you heat all the way around so that so that it's not reinforced on the other side, stopping it from bending properly. Now, because of the amount of heat that it takes, I don't recommend trying this with a hairdryer. You could, but I imagine that that would be an unfun experience because it would take a long time to do that. We're starting to get this full shape, so you can see it comes around here and comes all the way back through and is now facing out this way. And so far we still have one piece. Now I'm keeping tension on it because I want this to fit kind of snugly. So I'm actually gonna kind of grip and pull while it dries, while it cools. And I'm gonna actually take it a little bit further so that any release that it has brings it back to where I want. And I can always finesse this later by heating it back up and moving it around. Okay, now it's getting there. It's still kind of warm. I'm kind of blowing on it a little bit, but this holds heat quite a while. So if I let go of it, what's gonna happen is the weight of it is just gonna continue to pull it down and down and down. So I don't want that to happen, so I need to let it cool properly if it's gonna stay in place. I'm also providing a lot of tension because I want this to not shift around and not need to bind it with other things. I may still need to add an elastic band or something to help move it around and give it some spring, but I'm trying to keep it as contained in one unit as possible. This is getting cool enough, I'm gonna start on this one. All right, so at this point I can start getting it kind of where I want. Okay, so now I've got some freestanding arms. I'm just gonna give it kind of an elbow joint. I'm gonna go ahead and mark roughly the length here because I'm gonna take some of that off so that they're the same length. I'll just heat up a bit of an elbow joint and give it some shape. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of that. Let's get the other side. Okay, and there we have it. So now, obviously I can kind of finesse it. I might kind of flatten this down, and I haven't really talked about taking this, you know, and running this onto the arms, but at this point, because they're one piece, I can just run it all the way back and cut a cap here to kind of set into that. And then I've got a fully padded arm that's gonna stay in place. Meanwhile, these are in place, and it looks like some of this is still warm, but it looks like I could still pop this off. And what I've got is this. So along the back, you've got this crossing position, and this is it. This is the total thing. So this just sets over, and these just slip around. And you're ready to go. You're ready to start working technique where you're dealing with arms. Now, like I said, this is wanting to drift because it's not exactly tight, so I might still add a bungee that it traps to the bottom and kind of holds this from going anywhere. But then you've got one PVC pipe and one bungee cord. Do I even have one? I do. I have a bungee cord here for our double end bag we'd picked up for the double end bag. So I'm just gonna slip this through, and I'm gonna hook to the barrel underneath the body. So now I've got some tension pulling this back down. So if I provide leverage here, this is gonna come down and then ride right back up. So I can work technique where I can hit like this. So let's take a look at the back. At this point, you've just got this crossing here with a bungee there. So we've got two pieces, that's it. We've got a bungee and a PVC pipe, that's it. Using some heat to melt it. If you needed to, you could even set this outside on a hot day on the pavement and just let it get hot and then work with it. Or even actually boiling water works good too. If you cap one in and run boiling water into it, it'll heat all of that and then dump the water out and it's pliable. But that's it, with two pieces, we've made a nice simple set of arms that we can throw some pool noodle on and pad that, maybe pad here, and we're ready to go. And now we can work technique that involves working arms and that kind of stuff. So I think this is gonna be very cool. And I hope that if you make this, version 1.0, I hope you make version 1.5 or 2.0 and come up with some cool ways to apply this. All right, so we're back, day 2. It's been a few days. We just finished jiu-jitsu, but finished the arm. So we went ahead and shortened these. Ben is hiding right around here. That's it, perfect. He's gonna help me. He's gonna help me get the foam noodles on because this is actually kind of a pain, but it works really good. So we're gonna start, and they're gonna be too long. So go ahead. All right, so now we're on with this. Now, the thing about that is we decided to throw a gi on it. This is incredibly hard when it's already on. So we're changing tactics, and we're gonna throw this gi on the dummy arms before we put the rest on. Get these arms dressed, and we'll flip this all the way through. The secret is to come all the way around on the neck so that this arm reaches. It'll actually be even easier if you cut the arms first, but we'll cut them in a minute because I want to see them on the dummy before we do that. Should be pretty good. So now we've got kind of this situation here. So it's going to kind of change with its little cape action, but this will still set across, and then we'll split. You want to pull on that arm, pull on this arm, So we'll just go ahead and bring these jackets up and over. Kind of the bungee has to get on there. So just gonna drop that through the top. The jacket, I like having a jacket on the dummy because of the fact that it gives you something else to grip. You can grip sleeves, you can grip the collar, that sort of thing. Not doing it right now, but one of the things we're looking at doing is maybe wrapping this in rope so it's at least a little bit softer. But now we've got these arms. Because I can't tell exactly where this is, I'm just gonna come in from the front and I'm gonna run perpendicular until I hit, and that's my mark. Now you could obviously take this chunk, I'm gonna do the same thing here. You could possibly take that chunk here. I just think it's gonna be too thick for that. Maybe we might try it. I can't tell you actually how fantastic this works, and I think it worked really good with long arms, but they were kind of awkward because they were literally 6 inches longer. The short arms are gonna be so much better because now here that's about shoulder to arm, it's really about my arm length here. And so the ability to work your different techniques is fantastic. And that's it. This is the, so old gi, old belt. One pool noodle, probably 50 cents. One PVC pipe, $3, maybe, 9-foot pole. Bungee cord, you might have one, but I had one, so free. But call that maybe 50 cents. Worst case, $1 if you want a really nice one. I don't know what makes a really nice bungee cord. That's it. This is done. This is fantastic and way cheaper. So that $5 is incredibly cheaper than the $300 you would have to spend to go buy the official jacket. And because this is pool noodle, it's replaceable. If I want to work with the knives and stuff and cutting this stuff, I can. I don't like cutting the dummy just because they're so expensive. What I know people do, they work the knife on the dummy. It's just so expensive. But arms are replaceable, so I can work cutting on the arms easy, cut that, and work these techniques, and then just swap them out. Piece of cake. Techniques with weapons, same thing. Can hit the crap out of this. Sticks. If I want to work technique, now I've got arms, and I can work in there too. So absolutely fantastic. No reason not to do it. The most expensive part was the heat gun, but you'll use it forever for a million things. Literally, like, comment, I'll tell you a dozen things that you can use it for. That's it, so maybe $20. If you buy a nice heat gun, max 50, and that heat gun will pay for itself later. So that's it. Ken, that's Ben. This is Ken and Ben Fu TV. See you later. I mean, I think it's gonna be too big, don't you think? Too thick?
Yeah.
I mean, we have the ability to stick it on there. Honestly, we have like thinner pool noodles and they'd probably work better. But I mean, it looks weird. Camera's actually still rolling, but at least now if I'm hitting throat, we work some throat punch Thursdays, we can just work this out, okay? So in the comments, hashtag throat punch Thursdays if you actually made it to this part of the video. All right, check us out.